Quantitative ability, simple and compound interest problems. Now, before going through this topic, I first request you to go through a video of percentage because a knowledge of percentage is very much needed to go ahead with this topic. When someone lends money to someone else, the borrower usually pays a fee to the lender. This fee is called interest. So there are two persons involved here. One is money lender and second is money borrower. Now let us understand few important terminologies related to this topic. The very first, what is principal? The money borrowed or lent out for a certain period is called principal or the sum. What is interest? The money paid by the borrower for using lender's money is called interest. Time. This is the duration for which money is borrowed. Rate of interest. This is the rate at which interest is calculated on the principal. Amount. This is the total money which a borrower needs to pay to the lender. It is equal to addition of principal plus interest. Now let us understand how simple interest works. Well, all of you must be aware about a famous formula to calculate the simple interest, which is equal to PNR divided by 100. But here, let us understand some basic things related to simple interest. There is a bank which is offering a simple interest of 10% per annum to its depositors. So one person approaches this bank with a sum or principal of 1000 rupee to deposit in this bank. Let us see how his money grows over a period of few years. I consider a span of 4 years. Okay. Now how much interest he will get in very first year? It is 10% of his principal, that is 1000. So what is 10% of 1000? 100 rupee. This is what the interest he will receive in the very first year. So what will be the amount at the end of first year? It is equal to original principal of 1000 plus interest of 100 rupee, which is equal to 1100 rupees. Now how much interest he will receive in the second year? Again it will be 10% of this 1000, which is equal to 100 rupee because this is simple interest. So the amount at the end of second year will be 1200 rupees. Again in the third year he will receive an interest of 100 rupee and the amount at the end of third year will become 1300 rupees. The interest he will receive in the fourth year will be again 100 rupees and the amount he will receive at the end of fourth year will be 1400 rupees. So the final amount at the end of 4 years becomes 1400 rupees. This is how money grows under the scheme of simple interest. The interest is flat. Every year you will get 100 rupee only on the original principal. Now let us understand how compound interest works. So there is some other bank which is offering a rate of interest of 10% per annum compounded. A person visits to this bank with a sum or principal of 1000 rupees. Let us see how his money grows over a period of 4 years. How much interest he will receive in the very first year? It is nothing but 10% of this principal 1000 rupee, which is equal to 100 rupee. So the amount at the end of first year becomes 1100 rupee. Now the question is how much interest he will receive in the second year. It is not 100 rupee, it is now 110 rupee. Now the question is from where this extra 10 rupee came here. This extra 10 rupee is the interest on previous year's interest, that is 10% of 100, which is 10 rupee. Or in a very simple language, if I say it is 10% of the previous accumulated amount. So this is the basic difference between simple and compound interest. In simple interest, the interest is calculated only on the original principal. But in compound interest, the interest is calculated on previous accumulated amount. So the amount at the end of second year becomes 1100 plus 110, which is equal to 1210. How much interest he will receive in the third year? again it will be 10% of this previous accumulated amount, which is 121 rupees. So the amount at the end of third year becomes 1210 plus 121, which is equal to 1331. The interest in the fourth year he will receive is 133.1, which is 10% of this previous accumulated amount. And the final amount at the end of 4 year becomes 1464.10. So this is how the money grows under compound interest. Few observations that we can make out here is that in case of simple interest, the interest is always constant, but in case of compound interest, the interest grows. Second thing, whether it is simple or compound interest, the interest in the very first year or very first period is always constant. It starts deviating from the next year or next period. Few important points to remember here. For lending money, compound interest will be always beneficial. For taking loan or borrowing money, simple interest will be always beneficial. The interest in very first year or first period is always same, whether it is simple or compound. The simple interest is constant over a period of time, while compound interest grows. At what rate it grows? It grows at the rate of R. जो भी rate of interest होगा, उस rate से वो grow होता है. The amount in the simple interest follows a arithmetic progression. What is arithmetic progression? If a series of numbers are increasing with some constant difference, it is called arithmetic progression. While the amount in compound interest follows a geometric progression. What is geometric progression? If a series of numbers are increasing with certain common ratio, it is called geometric progression. Now, what is final amount? The final amount is equal to original principal plus interest. This interest can be either simple or compound. So what is amount on simple interest at the rate of R% per annum for n number of years? That is equal to original principal P plus PNR by 100. So out of that I am taking P as common. So it will be P multiplied by 1 plus NR by 100. Basically this is P plus PNR by 100. Because simple interest ka formula you are well aware of that. It is equal to PNR by 100. Similarly, let us see how the amount on compound interest is calculated after n years at the rate of R% per annum. Amount on compound interest for annual compounding यानी कि साल के आखिरी में किया हुआ compounding, that is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus R by 100 to the power of n. कितना अमाउंट होगा अगर हाफ ईयरली कंपाउंडिंग करते हैं तो दैट इज P इंटू 1 प्लस R by 2 by 100 to the power of twice n. अब देखो, इफ यू आर डूइंग हाफ ईयरली कंपाउंडिंग यानी हर 6 महीने के बाद कंपाउंडिंग, रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट आधा हो जाता है. बिकॉज रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट जो होता है वो साल का होता है. R इज फॉर पर एनम. सो इफ यू आर डूइंग कंपाउंडिंग हाफ ईयरली इट बिकम्स R by 2. और ऐसे दो पीरियड्स हो गए अभी, पहले 6 महीने और बाद के 6 महीने, इसलिए the number of periods are twice now. So I written here twice n. Similarly, amount on compound interest at quarterly compounding. There are 4 quarters in a year. 3 महीने का एक quarter होता है. And if there are 4 quarters in a year, for one quarter the rate of interest becomes 1/4. That is R by 4. And now the periods are 4. So here it will be 4n. Let us understand this by taking one example. Let us take this compounding example. जहां बोला है what would be the interest earned if a person invests rupees 2000 at 40% per annum for 1 year if number 1 interest is compounded annually, number 2 interest is compounded half yearly, and number 3 interest is compounded quarterly. So पहला लेते हैं अमाउंट फॉर एनुअल कंपाउंडिंग यानी कि साल के आखिरी में किया हुआ कंपाउंडिंग. तो वी विल अप्लाई द फॉर्मूला दैट इज P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power of n. So rate of interest is 40% for one complete year. So 40 by 100 to the power of 1. So that amount if we calculate it comes out to be rupees 2800. So 2000 रुपए इन्वेस्ट किए और साल के आखिरी में मिलते हैं 2800. So what is the interest earned here? Interest earned is rupees 800. Let us take the second case जहां पर interest is compounded half yearly. So it will be something like this. Principal is 2000. Now if it is half yearly compounding, rate becomes half. For 1 year it is 40%. So for 6 months it will be 20%, and number of periods are now 2. If we calculate this comes out to be rupees 2880. So how much is the interest earned here? The interest earned is rupees 880. Let us take the third case when the interest is compounded quarterly, यानी कि हर 3 महीने के बाद. So the calculation will be something like this. 2000 multiplied by 1 plus R. R is 10% because 40% is for 1 year. So for 1 quarter it will be 10%, 1/4 of 40. And number of periods become 4. So this value comes out to be 2928.2. So how much is the interest earned here? Interest earned is 928.2. So from this calculation, it is very clear that how frequently we do compounding, it is always beneficial to the depositor. Let us understand few problems related to simple and compound interest. We will start with a very simple problem here. Problem number 1. What sum of money will fetch a simple interest of rupees 7,800 in 3 years and 3 months at the rate of 8% per annum? Okay, you can always solve the problems of simple interest and compound interest by using the formula that we have discussed just now. But there can be still an alternative method which is easy and time saving and will give you the correct answer in minimum time. Let us work out on a principle of 100 rupee. मान लो 100 रुपए इन्वेस्ट करता है. As mentioned in the question, the rate of interest is 8% per annum. So अपन 100 रुपए के ऊपर कैलकुलेशन करके देखते हैं for 3 years and 3 months. So how much interest he will receive in the very first year? The simple interest he will receive in the very first year on 100 rupees is 8% of 100, which is 8 rupees. Similarly, in the second year, he will get an interest of 8 rupees. In a similar way, in third year also, he will get an interest of 8 rupees. Now, 8 rupees is the interest of 1 year. So, what is the interest of 3 months? So called 1 quarter. It is 1/4 of 8 rupees, that is 2 rupees. So, the total interest that he has received on 100 rupee in 3 years and 3 months is 26 rupees. So, अगर 100 रुपए इन्वेस्ट करता है तो 26 रुपीज का सिंपल इंटरेस्ट मिलता है 3 साल 3 महीने के बाद में. सो कितना उसने इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए टू गेट अ सिंपल इंटरेस्ट ऑफ 7,800? लेट अस से x रुपी इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए. नाउ x कैन बी कैलकुलेटेड बाय क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन, which is equal to 7,800 multiplied by 100 divided by 26, which is equal to 30,000 rupees. I feel this method is much easier than applying any formula. Problem number 2. A certain sum amounts to rupees 17,700 in 3 years and rupees 20,400 in 6 years under simple interest. Find the sum. Now basically what is this 17,700? It is equal to original principal plus 3 years simple interest. So I can write P plus 3 SI as 17,700. In a similar way, what is this 20,400? It is equal to principal plus 6 years simple interest. So I can write as P plus 6 SI is equal to 20,400. Now let us simplify these two equations. Let us subtract the first equation from the second equation. इससे P cancel हो जाएगा and what we will get is 3 SI is equal to 2,700. Now let us substitute this 3 SI in the first equation. ऐसा करने से अपने को principal मिल जाएगा, which will come out to be rupees 15,000. Problem number 3. In 5 years, a sum of money doubles itself under simple interest. In how many years the sum become 4 times itself? Now see here. If you have invested P rupees, it is becoming twice P in 5 years. So P is the original principal and twice P is the final amount. सो आप सिंपल इंटरेस्ट कितना मिला यहाँ पर 5 साल में? यू गॉट अ सिंपल इंटरेस्ट ऑफ p rupees in 5 years. So obviously in the period of next 5 years आपको फिर से p rupees ही सिंपल इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा and twice p will become thrice p in next 5 years. So again thrice p become 4 times p in another 5 years, because in every 5 years you are earning a simple interest of p. So in a span of total 15 years, your original principal of P becomes 4P. Hence the answer is option D. Now let us try out same type of question for compound interest. जहां बोला गया है, in 5 years a sum of money doubles itself under compound interest. In how many years the sum become 16 times itself? The basic difference in simple and compound interest is that in simple interest your money gets added, so called arithmetic progression, while in compound interest your money gets multiplied, so called geometric progression. Let us say you invest p rupees and that p is becoming twice p in 5 years. So the money is getting doubled in 5 years. So same thing will happen in another 5 years. Twice p will become 4 times p in 5 years as the money is getting doubled. In the span of another 5 years, this 4p will become 8p. And in another span of 5 years, this 8p will become 16p. So this is how the money gets multiplied. So your original principal of p becomes 16p in a span of total 20 years. Option B. Problem number 5. The compound interest on a certain sum for 2 years is rupees 2520 and the simple interest on the same sum of money at same rate of interest for 2 years is rupees 2400. Find the sum and rate of interest. Well, you can pause this video and try the question on the paper, and once you have solved it, you can again resume the video to look for the solution. Okay, we need to do the calculation here for 2 years. So ये जो 2 साल का सिंपल इंटरेस्ट मिला है 2400, we can split it as 1200 plus 1200 which is equal to 2400. Okay, can we split the compound interest? Yes, but how? The compound interest for the very first year is 1200, because already I had told you the simple and compound interest in the very first year or very first period is always same. It starts deviating from next year or next period. So पहले साल जो कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा वो 1200 मिलेगा. So बचा हुआ इंटरेस्ट दूसरे साल मिलेगा, that is 1320. Okay, now how we can split this 1320? We can write this 1320 as 1200 plus 120. From where this extra 120 rupee came? This is nothing but interest on previous interest. ये 1200 रुपए के ऊपर मिला हुआ इंटरेस्ट है. So we need to find out this 120 rupee is what percent of 1200? It is 10%. So the rate of interest is 10%. Now we need to also find the principal year. अब ये जो 1200 रुपए मिला है इंटरेस्ट पहले साल, this must be 10% of some value. So it must be 12,000 as the original principal, जिसका 10% 1200 होता है. So here the principal is 12,000 and the rate of interest is 10%. Problem number 6. A sum of money lent at compound interest amounts to rupees 2500 in 2 years and to rupees 2650 in 3 years. Find the interest rate. You can pause this video and try the question on the paper, and once you have solved it, you can look for the solution. Okay. Now in this problem, the compound interest amount for second year is given and third year is given. So we'll write 3 years like this. The amount on compound interest is given for second and third year. We don't know anything about first year. So second year ka I will write as 2500 and third year ka I will write as 2650. Now we know that in case of compound interest, the amount or even compound interest grows at the rate of r%. So this value of amount is more than the previous value by r%. So that r we are supposed to calculate, so called interest rate. So 2650 is how much more than 2500? Can be calculated like this. This is more by 150 rupees. So 150 rupees, what percent of 2500? We should calculate as 150 divided by 2500 multiplied by 100, that is equal to 6%. So the rate of interest is 6%. Problem number 7. Find the difference between simple and compound interest on rupees 18,000 at 20% per annum for 2 years. I already said you can always apply the formula of simple and compound interest which are available in any of the books, but still I will solve this problem by some alternative method which is still better than applying any formula. I work on 100 rupee. Let us say principal is 100 rupee and the rate of interest as mentioned in the question is 20% per annum. So how much simple interest we will get in 2 years? पहले साल जो सिंपल इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा वो 20 रुपए मिलेगा विच इज 20% ऑफ 100 और दूसरे साल जो सिंपल इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा वो फिर से 20 रुपए ही मिलेगा. तो द सिंपल इंटरेस्ट फॉर 2 years is ₹40. The compound interest for the very first year will be 20 rupees only and second year जो compound interest मिलेगा वो 20 रुपए प्लस 4 रुपए एक्स्ट्रा मिलेगा. दिस एक्स्ट्रा 4 रुपी इज द इंटरेस्ट ऑन प्रीवियस ईयर्स इंटरेस्ट. सो ये 20 रुपए का 20% 4 रुपीज होता है. So the total compound interest of 2 years is 44 rupees. So अगर हम 100 रुपए इन्वेस्ट करते हैं at the rate of 20% per annum, तो 2 साल के बाद जो डिफरेंस क्रिएट होता है सिंपल और कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट के बीच का वो 4 रुपए है. सो अगर हम 100 रुपए की जगह 18,000 रुपए इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो कितना डिफरेंस क्रिएट होगा? लेट अस से x रुपी. नाउ x कैन बी कैलकुलेटेड बाय क्रॉस मल्टीप्लिकेशन which is equal to 18,000 multiplied by 4 divided by 100 which is equal to 720 rupees. Problem number 8. Rajesh borrowed rupees 21,000 at the rate of 10% per annum compound interest. If the amount has to be repaid in 2 equal installments, find the value of each installment. So he want to clear the loan in 2 equal installment. So what is the value of that installment? Let us assume that the value of each installment is equal to rupees x. Now we are doing this calculation for 2 years, first year and second year. So here we need to calculate how much compound interest will come on 21,000 for the first year. It will be obviously 10% of this 21,000 which is equal to 2,100. So how much will be the loan amount at the end of first year? The loan amount at the end of first year will be equal to rupees 23,100 which is 21,000 plus interest on it of 2,100. So 23,100. इसमें से x रुपी एज अ फर्स्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट वो रीपे करता है. तो x रुपये अगर इसमें से मैं कम करता हूं तो लोन अमाउंट कितना बचा? इट इज इक्वल टू 23,100 माइनस x, बिकॉज x रुपी इज द फर्स्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट दैट ही हैज पेड. अब ये बचा हुआ लोन अमाउंट विल ग्रो बाय और इंक्रीज बाय 10% इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर. सो ये लोन अमाउंट कितना हो जाएगा नेक्स्ट ईयर? इट इज इक्वल टू 110 by 100 ऑफ 23,100 minus x as it is growing by 10%. और ये जो ग्रो होगा उसको वो सेकंड इंस्टॉलमेंट में रीपे कर देगा जिसकी वैल्यू x होगी. सो आई कैन इक्वेट दिस विथ x. Solving this particular expression you can calculate x which comes out to be rupees 12,100. It means if he pay 2 equal installment of 12,100 he can repay his complete loan of 21,000 rupees. I hope you have understood the concepts of simple and compound interest. I request you to practice additional questions from any of the aptitude book which will give you confidence. Thank you for watching this video.